Hi, I'm Ben of Mixup YouTube, returning just right after my episode recap, and I'm here to review It. It. What's it? It's good for you. It's a line from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And yeah, anyways, it was a pretty scary movie. Good scary. Yeah, it's the good kind of scary that you want to be scared. So, yeah, everyone's talking about this movie, and yeah. So basically, spoiler alert, I guess. Basically, this is chapter one, because what I can tell from the miniseries and the book, I know parts of the miniseries. I saw the nostalgic review of the miniseries, and I saw Cinefix, what's the difference between the miniseries and, excuse me, what's the difference between the miniseries and the book. So I know parts about the book, and I know parts about the miniseries. So I haven't really watched it, I just saw those. But yeah, so far this is like chapter one. Even the ending says chapter one. So basically, the whole movie is going to be about them being the kids, not the adults. Because in the later, I think because the book was too long to show them being adults, so I think they just split the movie into two. So I think it'll just be a two-a-G, not a trilogy. But anyways, so it takes place in the 80s. I think that might be a good year because like in the miniseries that was made in the 80s, I think it was made in the 80s, 90s, but yeah, it was made in the 80s. But when the kids' backstory, it was took place in the 50s, and I kind of like it that it took place in the 80s because it was kind of like a nice 80s nostalgia, and it was paying homage to stuff. But anyways, it took in the book, I think in the miniseries, I think it took place in the 50s, and then it was later into the 80s as them as adults, so I think they're gonna do that, but change it around. They're kids at the 80s, but when they're grown up, it's gonna take place in like the 2010s. So maybe, but also, I like the 80s. I like seeing the 80s, and I can't wait to see these kids all grown up, and I want to know what happens next. Also, the kids doesn't explain how the Bible says it. They don't lie down with each other like in the book, because I'm glad they didn't do that, because in a book, reading about kids doing that might work because you're not actually seeing that. So, but yeah, in the movie it doesn't work. So yeah, they don't do it here. But yeah, but the kids are really likable. I really like the friendship between the girl and the other characters, and there was some violent moments, like the opening with the kid and the little brother. Yeah, and that part in the trailer, you'll float too, you'll float too, you'll float too. Yeah, it's really scary. And there's this part with the painting, with this kid who's Jewish, and there's this painting with a flute, and it was really creepy, and they made it, and the creature made it come alive, and it was like, "Rah!" And it was really creepy. And yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Well, I'll tell you two things that one I didn't like and one that kind of bothered me. It was this kid was one of the chubby kid, because in a lot of 80s and these kind of movies there's always the chubby kid. Well, yeah, the chubby kid was reading about that fire on the the circus, and there was a kid who was um, decapitated, and yeah, that was awful. And they're showing him as a ghost, and it was and he was and it was showing him, and the monster was showing him decapitated, and it was out in real life, and there was these smoking chocolate eggs, metal chocolate eggs, and they were melting. That just made me feel bad because it was a kid and he got decapitated, and he was holding, and it's a box full of like snow cones, and that just seems sad. And there's this other part that I really didn't like, because I know this sounds racially offensive, but the black kid, I'm sorry, he was the only black character in the movie, so the black kid was doing that thing where you butcher sheep, and I didn't like that, because sheep are nice. Heck, I actually said no in the theater when I thought those bullies were gonna shoot that cat, because I love cats. Like, I think I mentioned in my reviews that I have like 7 cats. So yeah, this movie was creepy, scary, but it was a good way of scary. And I like being scared in the theaters. The actor who plays, well, I do like Tim Curry, and I like his over-the-top performances. But I think even though Tim Curry is a great actor, I think he plays like funny scary more than scary, but here this actor who plays him does a good job playing over the top scary, and he does a really good job portraying him. So yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed this, and it's a great scary movie, and I hope you can enjoy watching something that's scary. So I'm Ben of Mixup YouTube, and see you around. And you'll probably see some new videos.